Hi, this is Paul Guyman, and I'm doing my demonstration here with Zach. And we're going to demonstrate some of the skills from dialectical behavior therapy. So Zach, thank you for coming in this morning. This is your first time in here to the office, right?
Yep.
Okay. I just want to go over a couple of things with you and make sure that up at the front desk they took care of everything they needed to do. I know they had you sign a whole bunch of, look over some what we call consent forms and sign them, that kind of stuff. Did they do that with you and go through those?
Yep.
And one of those forms, of course, had to do with videotaping or videoing our sessions.
Yep.
And you're okay with that. We actually do that for a couple of reasons. One is so that as a therapist, I can go back and look at it once in a while and help remind me as to what we talked about and what we did.
Yeah.
So that's probably a really important reason. And I think another reason that's important there is it protects you as well, so that you could actually come in and see it as part of your file. You could come in and look at it if you needed to at any time. Another thing in this consent process that we go through is what's called informed consent. And we just want you to know that the things that we talk about, that you and I talk about here, are confidential. They don't go outside this office. On occasion, I may need to go over some things with my supervisor and that kind of stuff, but it's all going to stay within the office. Couple of exceptions to that for you to be aware of. One is if you were to divulge any type of illegal activity, then the laws here in the state of Idaho require me to divulge that. Okay,
Yeah.
So any criminal activity, any tendency towards that, okay, or anything that might harm yourself or others, then we might have to go outside the realm of confidentiality. Okay, so just so you're aware of that as well. Okay, any questions with regards to any of the stuff like that they did up front with you?
Nope.
Okay, good. Well, Zach, tell me why you're here today.
With my battle with anxiety.
Okay, and anxiety is something that, we're seeing an awful lot of that in the world today. I don't know why that is. Maybe we just are going through a lot more things than we've ever done in the past. Yeah, how do you feel today, this morning, as you come in?
I don't know, I guess more just on edge.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you can identify that would be causing that?
Probably just the new job that I just started recently.
Okay. And again, that's pretty, I guess, normal in a sense, that a person starting a new job always going to have some anxiety, right? You're learning new things, doing things you've never done before. Okay. Well, what we're going to do today then together for a few minutes is hopefully give you some skills to help you deal with some of that. Now, obviously this is just our first session, so we're not going to eat the whole elephant in one day, right, as they say.
Yeah.
But it'll be a start for you. And then as you come back, we'll be looking at other types of skills that might help as well. One other thing that I'll just mention at this point for you to consider is we do have groups that deal with anxiety. The group I think I'm thinking of right now is one that kind of deals with people that are working through both anxiety and depression, because those two often go together, those two conditions. Yeah. And so that's something you might want to consider. Probably in another session or two, we'll talk more about that. But that group work can really be helpful with something like anxiety as well. Okay? Now, as we start, one of the first things that we do, that we want to do, is what we refer to as a mindfulness exercise. Okay? And this is just going to kind of help us get centered. I'll walk through it with you so that I'll show you how to do it, and you can kind of follow along. And it kind of just helps, like I said, center us and kind of relieve the anxiety, kind of get that anxiety out of the room a little bit for us, or at least lessen it. Okay? So you ready to try something with me?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to do just what we call some deep breathing exercises to start with. So get comfortable, however you're comfortable. Sometimes, feet on the floor is a good one, to just however you feel comfortable here this morning. Some people, as we go through this, like to close their eyes. If you want to, that's fine. Certainly don't have to, but some people do that. I probably will just because I'm used to doing it that way. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to do 3 or 4 what we call deep kind of cleansing breaths. Okay? Where let me just demonstrate 1 or 2 here. Where you just take and you inhale, feel that coming in. You can feel it throughout your chest and your belly, and really through your head all the way down. Hold it for a second, and then exhale out through your mouth. Let me do 1 more as a demonstration for you. The inhale. Okay, so you get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so do it with me. We're just going to do 3 or 4 together, okay? And try to feel how it comes, or try to sense how it feels as that breath comes into your body and as you release it. Okay, here we go, Zach. Inhale. And hold it for just a second. And exhale. Again. Inhale. And exhale. A couple more. Inhale. And out. Let's do 1 more, last one. Inhale. And out. Okay. How do you feel now?
Better.
Does that help? That's a really great thing to remember, especially when we're dealing with anxiety. Because sometimes, you know, what our mind does to us is it plays tricks on us a lot of times. And we get into situations, or we're in a situation that's a lot of times not nearly as bad as we think it is. Okay? Tell me a little bit about your new job, because you indicated a minute ago that was something that was a cause of anxiety for you right now. So let's just talk about that a little bit, okay?
Yeah. Well, that's the main one. And there's other ones, but the main is like just starting and learning everything and not wanting to mess up because it makes it harder on people and trying to learn. Some of it's easy because some of it I've got experience with, but some of it's like I've never done it, so it's like, oh goodness, whenever like I make a mess or something, it's like, oh no. And there's like I'm worried because I'm worried that someone will get mad at me, or like that I'm taking too long doing something, or that I mess up on something and then someone gets mad.
Has that ever happened to you before, where you've made a mistake in something and someone's gotten upset with you?
Yeah, it happened at one of my previous jobs where a customer got mad at me and yelled at me like really bad.
Okay. And how did you feel when that happened?
I mean, I was okay in the situation because like you have to be calm, cool, and collected in the situation. But then afterwards, if you need to step away for a minute, like you can step away for a minute and just get all that out. And it's like afterwards, it like I kind of broke down and was like, well, I didn't mean to mess up. And thankfully, my manager had my back at the time, so it was nice.
It's always great when you've got somebody, your supervisor, it's gonna understand.
Yeah,
right?
my supervisor was like, hey, you don't need to yell at him like that. You know, he made a simple mistake. It's an easy fix. Like, and whatever, but then afterwards I was like, alright, I need to just go outside for a minute and just collect myself and all that, and she's like, yeah, no, go and come back when you're ready, and I'm like, alright.
Well, that's great. You've already just indicated that you've already demonstrated or used some of the skills that we teach people to use, you know. So that's great. I'm glad to hear that. That's really neat that you understand yourself enough to be able to do that. You ever had a situation where you just felt overwhelmed by your anxiety and weren't sure what you were going to be able to do?
Yeah, just recently. It's just like with stuff at home. It's like that's kind of got me overwhelmed of like what I'm gonna do, and like stuff in my life that's got me overwhelmed of like what's gonna happen next, like, you know, what all are we gonna do and how are we gonna do it, and my brain just starts racing, and I'm like, okay, hold on.
Okay. You know, that's another symptom of anxiety that you just indicated right there, is when our brain just starts racing, and we start kind of, the phrase that is often used is catastrophizing. It's kind of a big word, you know, but it makes sense when you think about it. We start thinking of kind of a worst case scenario. And what if this happened to me? Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, too many times.
Can you share maybe one experience where that's happened with me?
Well, just recently, or well, not recently, within the last 10 years, I lost a friend. And I was scared of always taking that same route because I didn't want it to happen to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't walk alone at night anymore. I don't walk without being protected at night anymore.
Right.
So
Yeah,
nighttime has become my enemy.
that is so hard. And we do so many things that require us to
I work
be
at
in those
night.
situations.
Yeah,
Yeah, you work at night.
I used to
Wow.
work late at night until like late at night, and then have to walk home. So it's like I made sure I was always protected, because it's like night. As much as I like the night, it's become my enemy,
Yeah.
like against my brain, and I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, and you find yourself thinking of things that could happen, probably wouldn't happen when
Well,
you
yeah.
think about it, but they
But they could, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially down streets where there's no lights or anything, and
Sure.
it's like you're wearing all black or something, and you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Like as much as like our hometown is like, or here is like all safe and whatever, but it's like there's those occasional people that are like weird and whatever.
Things do happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I can understand how that would feel, and how that might be hard for you to do that.
Yeah.
Well, let me just kind of teach you one skill today that might help with this. And as we mentioned at the outset, a lot of what this type of therapy does is learning skills to deal with situations like that, where you find your anxiety just kind of building. Whether it's like the situation at work where you found yourself having to step outside, or whether it's walking down a dark street, or whatever it might be, because there's all those different kinds of situations. Now, and this is really a pretty easy skill to remember. It's called the stop skill. Okay, STOP, and that's where that comes from. Okay, and let me just quickly go over what the letters stand for. Okay, S just means just what it sounds like, stop. You know, when you find yourself in that situation where the anxiety is starting to build, to just stop. You know, and remind yourself, oh, here I am. This is happening again. And let yourself feel what it feels like to have that happen. Some people say that when you do that, it's almost like you're going to freeze. You're going to freeze that moment in time. Okay, that makes sense? Okay, so you're going to stop there. And then you're going to, the T is for thoughtful or thinking, to thoughtfully look around and just see what the situation really is like. And then the O is for observing. Take a minute, observe, see what's there.
Anything different, or like what's around.
Exactly.
See if anything looks out of place.
Exactly. And then the P is, after you do that, to proceed mindfully with that awareness. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's, again, that's stop, S-T-O-P, and that's pretty easy to remember. 4 things.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were they?
Stop, think, observe, and proceed.
There you go. Okay, so pretty easy. So let's see if we can just, we're going to kind of just, I guess in a sense, make up a situation, okay, where that might happen. But let's say you were at work, and let's say you did make a mistake, and your manager in this occasion didn't have your back. He was really upset with you, or she was really upset with you, okay, and you found yourself, you know, you can feel that, right, when that starts to happen.
Right when you first made the mistake,
you feel those feelings in your body and all that, and so that's starting to build up. Okay, so what might you do, Zach, at that point to use this skill?
You think, how can I do to make this better?
Okay.
Or like fix it?
Okay. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to just tell ourselves, okay, hold on, right?
Yeah.
We're going to take control of this situation. So that's the stop. And like I said, even to freeze the moment if we need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Just
that helps.
Stop and just take a minute to realize what happened and how it happened.
Right. And then to think about it, to look at the surroundings of the situation so that you kind of get a correct instead of an inaccurate feel for what happened there. Because like we said a minute ago, a lot of times we catastrophize, like, oh my gosh, I did this, I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
When that's probably not going to happen. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of it's just like a simple thing.
Right, exactly. Okay, and then we're going to proceed mindfully with all that in mind. Is that a skill that you think you could practice?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Let me share with you one other thing now that we've got that done. And this is called a diary card, or sometimes we call it a report card, okay, that we use. And let me just go through the two parts on this with you. And this would be really helpful. I'm going to have you take this with you. If you can do this every day, and it's a good idea to do it at the same time every day. So you pick that time.
So probably like my lunch break.
Could be your lunch break. Could be as soon as you get up in the morning, before you go to bed, whatever. But something that's good for you. Okay? And of course, you see on this left-hand side the days of the week. Okay? They're all there. And then here, I don't know, are you on any medications for your anxiety right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so that first one is for your medications. Are you keeping up with them? Okay, you taking them when you're supposed to, that kind of thing. Okay, and then that's the second one. I don't know, do you feel like you've got depression? I mean, we can test that if we need to. That goes with the anxiety. Okay, so you can just kind of mark, you know, did you feel depressed on Monday? Okay, what skills did you use to help deal with that? Now, to start with, you've only learned the stop skill so far, but you'll learn a whole lot more. So as we get more into this, you know, there'll be more things, and you can comment on them. Okay, your anxiety level here. A lot of times it's good to just, when you find yourself in an anxious situation, to kind of scale it, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10. You know, 10 would be the worst, 1 would be the best, or something like that. Okay, so that can be helpful. All right, so is it causing you any problems? That's this next column. And then this one, the SI, is there any tendencies there, or anything that you're actually doing, okay, that would lead to that? SIB is self-inflicted behavior. Like some people, I don't know, you know, some people do things like they drink when they feel anxious.
I was gonna say, yeah, depending on certain times, like if I get like super in my head, I just drink, or like I'll have like a drink or two, or like I'll just want to forget those feelings.
Right, right. And there's other things that people do. I mean, people take substances, you know, drugs, that kind of thing. Cutting is another one that some people do. You know, so any type of behavior that would be detrimental to you, that you're self-inflicting. And this one right here, TIB, that's therapy interrupted behavior. So anything that might really create a negative for our relationship as client-therapist, okay? And then you can just write your sleep for that day, your energy for that day, okay? And those kinds of things. And then there's some just things over here that you can add on. I'm going to give you this too that kind of explains what each of those are if you need a reminder. Okay, and then on this one, so does that make sense? Do you have any questions as to what you do with that? And one of the things we will do in our therapy sessions as you come in, one of the very first things is we'll look at this, because this will help tell me
how you're feeling.
Exactly, and what you and I need to work on, okay, for that day. And then here, this is really...
Or for that session.
Exactly, right. And this is kind of supposed to be the back like this. The flip side of that, and this is just for you to kind of have a narrative, you know, to write out and how you might be feeling on Monday, any positive things that happened, what are you grateful for? Gratefulness is amazingly powerful.
Yeah. To
just stop and think about what you're really thankful for in your life. Okay? So I'm going to give these to you, and like I said, when we get together next time, we'll go over those together, okay? Any questions you have on those?
Nope.
Okay, now one other thing for you to be aware of as a therapist in our relationship is I am here for you. So these therapy sessions are going to be for Zach, okay? So you're really going to be in control of them. A lot of it's going to be based on what you put on your diary card, that kind of thing. But if you ever feel uncomfortable, if you ever have any questions, anything like that, you let me know. Okay, can you commit to do that?
Yeah.
Great, that's super. Okay, and then the last thing I would tell you is that I'll give you my card before you leave, and if it's got a number on there that you can call. One of the things we like to do in dialectical behavior therapy is make sure we're available for what's called coaching. So if you ever have a situation where you just feel like, man, I need immediate help
someone,
right now, then you can call. And I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can, but a lot of times we find that even if you just leave a voicemail, you voicing
it helps get it out.
gives you power.
Yeah.
Okay? Any questions about what we've done and talked about here today? Okay. Well, it's great meeting you and having you here. I think we can really work together and help you with some good skills for your anxiety. Okay, we're going to do one more mindfulness exercise before we go, okay? Now this one's going to be just a little bit different. I want you to just kind of listen. So we're going to use our ears, all right? And just listen to what you hear. We'll just do it for a few seconds here. So let's close our eyes, just because that helps shut other things out. And just listen. Not say anything for a minute. Okay. What did you hear?
My phone.
Okay. Anything else?
Like the fan in the background, like the white noise of a fan.
Yeah. Okay. That's just another thing that we can do sometimes when we need to just settle ourselves, right? We can just stop and we can listen.
Just
You're
hear the
using-
noise and
Yeah.
like just be like, just like gather yourself.
Exactly. That's a great word. That's exactly right. Okay. So does this time work for you again next week?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll put that down then and we'll see you next week. We'll go from there, and don't forget to do your diary card.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Zach.
Not a problem. I know.
Did we get it?